So, dear devotees and friends, welcome to the Hymns Explained class. We are now studying the Khandana Bhavabandhana hymn, which is called the Arati song that is being played at every center of the Ramakrishna order. So far we have taken up for our study the 6 verses. So I would ask Juma to sing the first 6 verses. While she is singing, please pay attention to the text so that word by word you can clearly listen and you can see it and repeat also within your mind. You can tell it loudly also, because if you are muted, then you can tell loudly also, no problem. Yes. Let us hear from Juma now.
Khandano bhavo bandhano jago bandhano bondito mai niranjano narorupo dharo niranjano narorupo dharo nirguno gunomay mochano aghodushano jago bhushano chidghano kai জ্ঞানাঞ্জনো বিমলো নয়নো জ্ঞানাঞ্জনো বিমলো নয়নো বিক্ষণে মোহজায় ভাষার ভাব সাগর চির উন্মাদ প্রেম পাথার ভক্তার জন যুগল চারণ ভক্তার জন যুগল চারণ তারণ ভব পার জৃম্ভিত যোগ ঈশ্বর জগ দেশার যোগ সাহায় নিরোধন সমাহিত মান নিরোধন সমাহিত মান নিরখিতাব কৃপায় ভঞ্জন দুঃখ গঞ্জন করুণা ঘন কর্ম কঠোর প্রাণার্পণ জগত তারণ প্রাণার্পণ জগত তারণ কৃন্তান কলিডোর বাঞ্ছান কাম কাঞ্চনতি নিন্দিত ইন্দ্রিয় রাগ ত্যাগীশ্বর হে নরবর ত্যাগীশ্বর হে নরবর দেহ পদে অনুরাগ।
Thank you. So this Arati songs, as I told you, is sung on a particular raga, Mr. Kalyan Rag, as we said at the beginning. And then tal is given. 3 types of tals have been used. So you will find the two verses that we sing in the beginning, this is up to 8 verses. Then 9, 10 are different meters. Up to 8 verses, the same meter has been used. So we have seen up to 6 we have studied. Now today we are starting with the 7th. So the 7th verse, can you please sing the 7th verse?
Nirbhayo gato shangshayo dridho nishayo manoshoban nishkarano bhakto-sharono nishkarano bhakto-sharono taji jati kuloman.
Thank you. So this verse also is written in the same meter of the previous verses. So the 7th verse has got 2 lines, you find that. And then the same alliteration also has been used in this verse also. For instance, the first line ends with Manasa Van. Second line ends with Jati Kula Man. So the Van and Man, these are alliterations. So Swamiji, it was an extempore writing of Swamiji. So in that, keeping to the beauty of the poetry also in mind, it has come out from Swamiji. It's an outpouring of emotion of Swamiji's. So he continues to describe what Sri Ramakrishna meant to him. And in that way, as a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, what he means to us. So in this verse we say, the first sentence says, Nirbhaya Gata Samshaya Drida Nishchaya Manasavan. So this Manasavan means one who has got the mind of Manasavan. The mind of, what mind of he has got? He has got Nirbhaya. He has got no fear. Gata Sanshaya. His mind is bereft of all doubts. All doubts have gone away. And then Drida Nishchaya. That means strongly determined. So these are the 3 is Manasavan. His mind is of what made of? Sometimes you ask, what is the metal? So this metal of his mind is these 3 qualities. Nirbhaya, Gata Sanshaya, Drida Nishchaya. These 3 are done these 3 are there in his mind. Then in the second line he says, Nishkarana Bhakata Sharana Teji Jati Kulaman. So in this second sentence we will find, while singing, sometimes we mispronounce the word. Then what happens? The rhythm of that poem also can be spoiled. So we must be careful in not increasing the matras where it is not required, or not pronouncing the matra where it is required. For instance, Nishkarana Bhakata Sharana. Many people I have seen, when they sing Nishkarana Bhakta Sharana, they sing like that. In that case, the rhythm is collapsing. See, the beats are left out. And likewise, in the second part, Teji Jati Kulamana, not Tyaji Jati Kulamana. It should be Teji. It is Akara Tya, not Tya. Like Tyaga, not like that Tya. This is Tya. So Teji, that is Teji Jati Kulamana. So if you keep up to the spelling as it is mentioned here, then the singing will be very easy for you. So Nishkarana Bhakata Sharana, not Nishkarana Bhakta Sharana. Sometimes for tal purpose, when you play tabla, etc., you can just add it like that. But it's not proper because it breaks the beats. Nishkarana bhakata sharana teji jati kula mana. So wherever dirgha is there, akar, that this dirgha sound must be given. Wherever rishva sound, that is a short sound, is given, that short sound should be pronounced. Now let us go into detail. What is this nirbhaya means? Nihi plus bhaya is called nirbhaya. This one word is combination of two words. Ni plus visarga plus bhaya. So nirbhaya means not fearing. That is fearless. We say that fearless. Is fear an instinctual habit within us? Yes. I have seen once recently when I went to a place, so all the devotees were standing, putting our legs on the Atlantic Ocean. Suddenly, one dog came from somewhere. We don't know from where, so somebody has brought the dog. And the dog came and stood just behind the feet of one person. And the moment the prayer was over, he turned and then he saw the dog just at his feet. He jumped into the water. So, what has happened? Because unknown thing. We don't understand that it is a dog. After seeing the dog, then he became quite alright. Because it was very easy to understand now. So likewise, this fear is an instinct. It is inherent in every being. Whether in what situation the fear comes, you do not know. The fear can be of different types. And some people are fear of darkness. Some people have fear of cloistered rooms. And some people have fear of even vastness. There is a fear. In New York, we went to a building. In that building, I think 48 or 58 story. In that story, there is a glass extension to that building. Now, the glass extension, if you walk on that, you can see everything. You can see down below the road, the vehicles are going, etc. And the glass extended from the building to say about 10 feet. And I saw how people were afraid to walk on that. It's actually closed one. Mind you, there is nothing, there is where you can jump into outside and fall, etc. No, you cannot fall, even if you want. But then I saw people are having fear. Many people are afraid to come into that. And their friends were dragging them, come and stand here, see here. But when they look down upon, and then they get the fear. So fear is of several types of fears we have. Some, very bold ladies who speaks of feminism, etc., very bold, daringly on the mic. And if you put one cockroach in a room, you can see her how much fearful. So you can see the fear can come in many ways. So fear is inherent in us. So this inherent instinct natural, this fear, does a person who realizes God, will he have or not? So you will be surprised. This fear, a person who realizes his self, or in Saguna Brahman, as we say realizes God. Whether he realizes self as Atman or he realizes a God, he will not have fear for anything or anybody or for anyone. This fearlessness is something, from that itself one can understand a person has reached a very high level of spiritual consciousness. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, you find then there is a beauty of Totapuri teaching Sri Ramakrishna. So Totapuri once told Sri Ramakrishna, look, he used to call him Beta, and then he used to call him Ramakrishna also sometimes. And then, so he told him, look, why the fear comes, do you know? Then Ramakrishna, very simple boy like that standing before him, he said, no, I do not know, please tell me, like that he said. Then Totapuri explained, wherever duality is there, fear is a must. Duality means, I am separate from another. I am separate from this. I am separate from this situation. I am separate from this object. I am separate from this person. I am separate from this animal. I am separate from this bird. If you have the separation feeling, then that is the cause of creating fear in our mind. If you see actually wherever fear comes, you just find out what is the cause. You'll be surprised to see the difference between that object and you. And when you think that you are having separation, then the fear comes into mind. So long you find oneness, you don't have the fear. With your own daughter, you can stay with her. And even she may come, put on some mask, and she may come and make you fearful. But even then, the moment she comes before you, you can understand it is your own daughter. So the fear goes away. Because the oneness is available there, which is not available in other places. So Totapuri told Ramakrishna, look, yesterday night I was sitting in Panchavati and no one was there with me. I was all alone and focusing my mind on the Atman. So I was feeling I am the Atman because he was an Advaita Jnani, Totapuri was an Advaita Jnani. So he felt that I am the Atman. This is what he realized he was having. At that time, suddenly when he raised his eyes, he found some disturbance on the branch of the tree. He looked at that, then one Pisacha, Pisacha body, it has taken. Every jiva has got, there are different types of bodies one can take. So one is this Bhuta, Preta, Pisacha, these types of bodies are also there. So one jiva has obtained this Pisacha body and it is sitting there on the branch. And it is showing that its teeth and telling Totapuri, hey, are you not afraid of me? Get up and run away. Otherwise I will catch you. So Totapuri looked at it and he smiled at it. And that Pishacha was surprised because generally the Pishachas were very happy, when the people run, fearful. So this fellow is not running and is smiling. He said, what's the matter? In the modern language, what's up? Why are you sitting? Why did not get up? Then Totapuri answers, look, hey Pishacha, you have got a Pisacha body, I have got a human body, Naradeha. You have got a Pisacha Deha, I have got a Naradeha. Within both these bodies, the same Atman resides. I have realized my Atman, which is what inside your body also. So why should I be afraid of you? You can come and do whatever to me. If at all you do anything to me, you can only mangle my body, but not the Atman. So this is what he taught to Sri Ramakrishna. If there is a difference in Dvaita worship, why Dvaita is considered as somewhat a lower step to Advaita is because in Advaita you find that oneness, not oneness with only people, oneness with the entire universe. That oneness is what obtained in Advaita philosophy. So Sri Ramakrishna attained that Advaita Siddhi. He attained it when he practiced this Nirvikalpa Samadhi under the guidance of Totapuri. So he is fit to be called Nirbhaya. Now, okay, he attained Advaita consciousness. So can you say that because of that he has become Nirbhaya? Yes, see his life. At his young age, when he was only 8 years, 9-year-old boy, the other boys are merrymaking. Where is this Gadadhar? People are searching for Gadadhar. Where is he? Where is he? They found him in the Smashan Ghat, in the night sitting and doing dhyana. Can anyone dare to go to Smashan Ghat? See, Smashan Ghats of villages are not like our city Smashan Ghats. In city you got beautiful buildings are there and the machine is there where the body is burnt and then you can all sit there, it's all air conditioned, you can see that. But in villages it's not so. And village Smashan Ghat is always kept at the corner end of the village. At the corner of the village. So people are afraid to walk even during daytime. What to talk of night? And this boy, absolutely fearless. He has gone there and meditating in a Smashan Ghat. That is one of the important, we see that. So, this fearlessness brings you a mental status of abhayam, where bhaya, the fear is not there. It's called abhayam. So this abhayam is a very important thing. We find in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also, when Janaka is to Janaka, Yajnavalkya says that abhayam vai praptosi, O Janaka, he says, O Janaka, you have now obtained abhayam. So one of the benefits of attaining Nirvikalpa Samadhi or the Advaita knowledge is to get this abhayam. Not only you are fearless, whoever comes to you, to them also you bestow the fearlessness. So he is fit to be called Nirbhaya. And this fearlessness, as I told you, in Ramakrishna's life we find from childhood onwards. So he is, later when he becomes elderly, did he fear for the society? No. Did he fear for the rich people? No. Even to the Marwadi Bhakta who came and offered him, to him also he never minced words. He used to tell him, you all have got, some type of Kamya Bhakti. You have got something in your mind. You are wanting something to be done. That's why you have brought all these sweets. I will not give these sweets to others. None of my disciples will get it except Naren. Why Naren? Because Naren can burn it everything. So I can give it to Naren. But not to others like Premananda and other Swamijis. No. So that was, he would not mincing words to Marwadi also. Who is giving him? He wanted to give 10,000 rupees. In those times, can you imagine? And Sri Ramakrishna said, no, I cannot take money. Okay, you can go and ask my wife, Sarada. He went to Sarada Devi and asked her. She said, if he has denied, how can I accept it? So she also did not take. Long after, many years after Swamiji meets this man in one station, in railway station, the same Marwadi Bhakta comes and he says, oh, are you not Lakshmi Narayan? He said, yes, I am the same Lakshmi Narayan. I have come to this village and I saw you in the station, so I came to you. Are you not Narayan? He couldn't see Narayan. Narayan has completely changed, At that time he was a young schoolboy and now he's completely, he has grown up, he is about 30-year-old, so he couldn't recognize first. So they meet each other and they had a very nice time. So this, even, that means society also he did not fear. And rich people he did not fear. And the question of speaking the truth, when it comes, he is cut right. And then he will not mince words. That fearlessness comes when you grow in spiritual life. This straightforward speaking is one of the quality of the spiritual development. You may say a devotee is speaking very straightforwardness. But straightforwardness is one of the qualities. There may be other qualities of spiritual progress may not be existing or may not be visible now. But this quality is very prominent. So in some devotees you find that speaking straightforwardness is available, and that also should be appreciated because that comes from the idea of fearlessness. That's why Nirbhaya is a very beautiful word he uses, that Nirbhaya. Then the next word is Gata Samshaya. As we saw that Gata Samshaya means the doubts are gone. When do our doubts go away? We have so many doubts. We can even write down our doubts, and so many doubts come. And sometimes the doubts are automatically cleared. Okay. Some people come and tell me, Swamiji, yesterday, suddenly I opened the YouTube video and then I was listening to you. And 2-3 doubts I had, all those doubts are gone after listening to you. But they didn't know that those doubts are being answered there. You just open casually some talk and you listen. Some doubt which has been nagging you for many years or many months or many weeks, that goes away. Okay, you get an answer there. So when the answer will come also, we do not know. So many people also raise questions or send me questions. I keep them. When the time comes, I will take up. Because only for the questions, it's not a question our discussion, you see. So I'll keep it. So sometimes that's why some devotees say, Maharaj, you are talking about some subject, some other subject you nicely introduced within that. I said, why? Because that doubt was there of somebody. So that has to be clarified. So I brought the subject and then discussed that. So here it says the doubts, all doubts go away. So the scriptures have got a beautiful way of telling us that the doubts will not stay there. Why? What has happened? Why that doubt will not stay? So if you find that, see, Mundaka Upanishad 2.2.8, you can see that one beautiful verse is there. And the same verse in toto was borrowed by Adi Shankaracharya in one of his books. That book name is called Drik Drishya Viveka. Drik Drishya Viveka. The object and subject. Drishya is that which is seen, subject. Drik is the person who is seeing that. So seer and the object seen. Seer and seen, Viveka. Discrimination. Discrimination between the seer and seer. The same verse in toto has been quoted. What is that verse says? The verse says, Vidyate Hridaya Grantis. Hridaya Grantihi. If you disconnect the sandhi, then you have to pronounce it as Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi. What does it mean, Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi? The fetters of the heart are broken. Granthi means we saw one of our previous classes when we are discussing about 8 pashas, Ashta Pasha. That we saw that how the 3 Granthis are being told in our scriptures. So one of these is the Hridaya Granthi. This heart has got a knot. So the Granthi means, of course, a scripture. That also called Granthi. Grantha is, but Granthi means is a knot. So you can put easily. There are several kinds of knots are there. In NCC, in our younger days, in the National Cadet Corps training, we are taught how many types of knots can be put on the strings. You can take a string, you can put a knot, and certain knots are very, very strong, mind you. You can put one type of knot is there. You can put it on a car. You can pull the car with your one hand. Such knots are there. So likewise, very strong knot is there, Hridaya Granthi. So this Hridaya Granthi, the fetter, this is a fetter, it is catching me, the jiva and this body and mind is being connected by a fetter, by a chain. What is that chain? That chain is called Hridaya Granthi. This Hridaya Granthi is chidyate. That means it gets disconnected, cut off. And also, chidyante sarva samshaya. Here the word comes, samshaya. Sarva samshaya chidyante. All the doubts are resolved. And then the third one, kshiyante chasya karmani. All the karmani, karma phalas that are waiting, that as a sanchita karma, and already you are getting suffering due to the prarabdha karma, and there will be no agami karma. All the 3 types of karmas are getting resolved, are getting completely kshiyante. They are being wiped out. When is the question? Yes?
You just now mentioned that there are 3 types of karma. So one is sanchita, one is prarabdha, and what is the third one?
Third is agami. Agami. That means the karma that I have not yet done.
Okay.
Say today I have done certain things. So these have become sanchita because the phal will come later. But then tomorrow I may do some karma.
Yes.
So that tomorrow's karma, that is later I may do, even tomorrow, next moment also you can take it. The future karma, karmic actions, and their results are called sanchita karma phala. The actions themselves are called sanchita agami karma. So the results are called agami karma phala. So when I have not yet done a karma, you don't need to worry about that phala also. See the result also. So agami karma you don't need to worry now. You have to worry only about the prarabdha and the sanchita. These two are the things that are dangerous for us. But then the agami karma we can correct ourselves. So then when is the situation when these doubts are wiped out and your hridaya granthi, the fetters of hridaya granthi, the chain is broken, and then all your karma phalas are being wiped out, kshiyante, they become zero. When? Then the Upanishad says, Tasmin drishte paravare. That is a beautiful sentence. Tasmin drishte paravare. When you have a direct vision of Him who is in high and low, who is everywhere. When you have a direct vision, tasmin drishte, when you have a vision, then none of the doubts can remain with you. The biggest doubts of your spiritual life, they cannot remain with you. This is called a very beautiful way it has been put here, and you can see that. Just a minute. So here we can see that how Ramakrishna realized the truth directly. He had the Mother Kali as a Saguna Brahma, and then by the help of Totapuri's instruction, he went straight up to the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where he had to break the vision of Mother Kali in his mind. And he just cut her into two pieces, he says. And Totapuri was very much upset. Hey, you are not able to grow further. Only he is seeing Mother Kali. Saguna Brahma Darshan only is having. So Totapuri got upset, Then he found a small piece of glass lying there. He took it and then he cut here in the third eye place. And then Sri Ramakrishna explains that before him the Mother Kali was there, and Mother Kali's form was cut into two pieces and she fell down. And he reached much higher plane of consciousness, which is called Nirvikalpa. There is no kalpana there. There is no kalpa is there. So that type of samadhi he went in. And then if you see that he transcended doubts of so many things. That's why he could answer doubts of others people. Not like us, you see. We have not realized God, but people are putting questions. Yes.
Nirvikalpa. Kalpa over here is form.
Pardon?
Nirvikalpa and is the breakup of Nirvikalpa is no
form. Yes. No form and no name.
No form and no name. Okay.
That is called Nirvikalpa. Guna Nirakara Brahman, that is realized at Nirvikalpa Samadhi stage. Nirguna, this way. Saguna Brahman is realized Samadhi. There is another Samadhi called Savikalpa. So in Savikalpa Samadhi, Saguna Brahman is realized. So now there are different stages of realization our yoga scriptures speak of. Now here you see, what I am telling was that because he had no doubt within himself about anything, so he could answer people's doubts. Not like, because in all our talks, you see 40 minutes you talk and 20 minutes for question answer session. And some people answer in such a way as if they know everything. It is not true. We do not know everything because we are not realized God. Only by what you have read, what you have known, or what you have experienced a little, only you can say. But people like Ramakrishna, saints like Ramakrishna, they could resolve. Even you do not need to go and ask them your doubt. The coming Saturday is our Guru Purnima is there. Actually, Friday night itself Purnima starts. So in India, so we are celebrating on Saturday. So Guru Purnima, you will find that my own Guru, when I went to him, I had a great doubt within me and I wanted to ask him. I never brought it out in my mouth, but he knew that and he answered me. So the persons who have gone to that extent, who have realized God, what they do is they don't need to be told even your doubts. I have read about Ramana Maharshi. I have not seen him. That Bhagya was not there for me. But then I have seen people who have seen Ramana Maharshi. So they say that when you go to Ramana Maharshi, you don't need to ask any question. You go with hundreds of questions. But then you go and sit before him, and one by one the questions are answered at the moment when he looks at you. When he looks at you, what he does, he understands, he reads your mind. And then, and that answer is, you receive it. We find this person can speak with, which communicates, making a bondage with you. No. When Holy Mother went to Bangalore, she sat there quietly. And the devotees also sat there quietly. 1 hour passed. After coming out, then Brahmananji asked her, Ma, you are simply keeping quiet. What happened? No, I was talking to them, she said. And then the devotees were asked, hey, you are all keeping quiet. What is that? No, we asked questions and we got answers in our language. But Mother was not talking. So, where you see, even the language is a barrier to communicate your idea. When the language itself is not there, there is nothing to stop the mind contacting another mind. This is what happens, what we call telepathy, we say that. In telepathy, I may be, say, 300 kilometers away, but you may be away from me 300 kilometers, but you can think of this. And yes,
in the Shastra, it is said that both the Guru and the Shishya need to be Ashcharya Bhakta and Kushalasya Labdha. But in Mother's case, was it just by her influence the other party, the devotees, understood? Or can it be into that category?
no. In Kathopanishad, the quotation that you said, Ashcharya Bhakta Kushalasya Labdha, it does not make it a mandatory quality of a guru or a disciple. In the case of Lord Yama and in the case of Nachiketas, so they were like that. Yama was a Ashcharya Bhakta and Kushala was Nachiketas. So that same quality may not be there with all the other gurus or the other Shishyas. But in Mother's case, as we consider Mother as a Divine Mother's form, as a Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, in her case, she doesn't require even the Guru status. She has gone beyond the Guru status, to come and teach you. So she is from such a high position, she is looking at somebody, she has given the answer. That is possible. And as a Divine Mother ways, make even the most boba, most dumb man can become a great Bhakta. Is it not? Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim, yat kripa tamaham vande, paramananda madhavam. We say Madhava's grace. If Madhava's grace is there, a muka, a dumb man can become a poet. And we have seen in Kalidas' life also. So, Kushalosya Labdha, that need not be a mandatory thing for all the disciples. Okay. So now we see these doubts are ever gone. And then next, the Manasavan, that what are the 3 qualities we saw? Yes?
There is one, Sharadamba has written in the chat. She's asked, can we call it Mauna Vyakhyana?
Yes, Maunam Vyakyanam. Yes, very good. Thank you, Sharadamba. This comes in when we read about Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti as a guru, Lord Shiva takes the form of Dakshinamurti, and he is very, very young. In a young age, about 16-year-old boy, and Shiva comes in the form of Dakshinamurti and sits under a tree. And under him, on the ground, all the great aged rishis are sitting. When Shiva is giving Upadesha to the aged rishis, what he did, how the Upadesha was transmitted. So Maunam Vyakyatam, it says, so Adish Maunam, that keeping Maun, that is not uttering the verbal words. From that itself you can teach a person. That is also a way of communication. So that is also, as it has been very well said. So the third one is Manasavan. So Drida Nishchaya, that is another quality. What are the three qualities I said? First we said Nirbhaya and Gata Samshaya, and third is the Drida Nishchaya. Drida Nishchaya is something that firmly resolved mind. Like that we can translate it. Firmly resolved mind. So how much firmness we ordinary people can have. So if they say, if there is an axe to grind, then you become very determined. That means if you have got any selfish motive, in that situation, you show that you are determined. But not in all the cases. But you can find, it depends much upon our willpower to be determined. But you can see that this willpower collapses when much more things come before us and it shakes our willpower. There are many situations in our life we have seen how the willpower has been shaken. For instance, the Puranas, if you see, 1000 years of tapasya will make a person the next Indra. The Indra has to vacate if a person does 1000 years of Kator tapasya. And that is what Vishwamitra was doing. Already 950 years passed. Only another 50 years to be completed. At that time, the chair where Indra was sitting started being shaken. And Indra thought, no, my post will go away. I will be thrown out because the other man will come. So he sent one Urvashi to entice Vishwamitra. And the story goes, the Puranas story that, and this 950 years of his tapasya went to zero because of the disturbance of his tapasya. So the Drida Nishchaya, Vishwamitra had Drida Nishchaya earlier, but then certain circumstances, overwhelming circumstances may come in your life. It is only an example to us. Even Vishwamitra could not keep up his Drida Nishchaya, that resolved mind, because of an obstruction coming from outside. Then where we are, like that we may think. So at that same time, you must understand how the great Vishwamitra again sat far. That is the Drida Nishchaya. And 1000 years nobody could touch him. So you can see that the Drida Nishchaya can, as Swamiji says, the failures are the stepping stones for success. So one failure has taught him the lesson and he became Drida Nishchaya. In Sri Ramakrishna's life also we find that his willpower was enormous. We all can think that our willpower is, we have got already willpower, we can do this, we can do that. No. So if Sri Ramakrishna decides to do something, he will get it done. He will not walk behind or retreat from his promise. When he was young, he was going to be given the Yajnopavita, as we call it, the sacred thread. So in sacred thread ceremony, one portion of the ceremony is such that after getting the sacred thread from the Guru, the boy has to stand before his mother and ask for bhiksha. Bhavati bhikshan dehi, he has to say with the pot in his hand, and she will give one handful of rice to her son. So this is, or if the mother is not there, somebody else. The mother also, you can receive that, or you can receive any senior lady of your family. But while jokingly, this Kamarini, this Kamarini Thakur, that lady who saw to the birth of Sri Ramakrishna, she was a midwifery. So she saw the midwifery work, to Ramakrishna's mother when she was delivering him. So that lady came, and once she was making, see, I belong to a poor class. And I am not only poor, I belong to a backward caste. So here, Godai, when you will have sacred thread, you will definitely receive the first alms from a high caste woman. Is it not so? You will forget me. Like that she was making fun with him. And this boy not knowing what he was telling, simply uttered that, "No, Kamarini, I will take the first alms from your hands only," not knowing what are the caste problems are there in the village. He was a young boy, so he didn't know that. But when the time came for his Yajñopaveeta ceremony, he stood his ground. He said, "I have uttered this to her. When I have uttered her, I must keep it. Come what may, come rules of caste, I don't care for it." This is, in other cases, like us, if we are there, we would have been cowed down by the instructions by the elders. But that young boy stood his ground. From this itself, this is one of the best examples in Ramakrishna's life, where he disregarded the caste restrictions at that time. You must remember, in his time, the caste was terrific, not like today. So that we can see that in that young age also, "I will take from your hands," and he took from her only, in spite of the elders' obstruction, or they were objecting to that. It will not fall. So, then his resolve to take sannyasa. How it came? You see, because Divine Mother Kali has told him, "For you only I have sent Totapuri," and naturally he took that resolve that I will take sannyasa. But then his mother was still living. He couldn't go and tell his mother that he has taken sannyasa. So he used to wear the red colored bordered dhoti. But he remained as a true sannyasi. So that is what the monastic was. And he practiced the non-dual, that is the Advaitic way of sadhana. He did that. In spite of whose objection, the first Guru of Sri Ramakrishna, who gave him all the tantric ways, was Bhairavi Brahmani. Bhairavi Brahmani wants Sri Ramakrishna. Punjab. Kali will be, he will make you an Advaita Vedantist. So don't go to him. Either she is telling him again and again. But he said, Ramakrishna said no. Because Mother Kali only has sent him to me. For me, for my purpose. So how can I say no? And he went and took the instruction from Totapuri about the Advaita sadhana. This is something great. Even he could disregard the instruction of Brahmani, who actually at that time held sway on Sri Ramakrishna's mind, about which Holy Mother also got afraid of. Mind you, Holy Mother saw in her presence only these things happened. So she thought, what has happened to her husband? He is completely under the sway of Bhairavi Brahmani. And that type of things also came. And Bhairavi Brahmani, how she treated Holy Mother. Later only she came to know who is Holy Mother. And before, initially, she was not very fond of Holy Mother, She was not very liking Holy Mother. But she comes. And she is always, Bhairavi Brahmani is instructing Ramakrishna the danger of keeping Sarada next to him. All those things were there. In spite of those instructions, Sri Ramakrishna disregarded Bhairavi Brahmani. So, and also, Totapuri gave him Nirvikalpa Samadhi experience. And the same Totapuri is now telling him, you are only making rotis by putting your palms together and making tal and singing bhajan. Leave all those things. Sri Ramakrishna never left. See, I'm only giving examples for his Dridana, how he was completely resolved. Once he resolved his mind, nobody can take away from him from that path. And Totapuri used to say that you are putting your hands together and singing the name of Mother. That is all within Maya. But Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, let me be within Maya, doesn't matter. But I love my mother, so I will sing for her. So this is Dridhanishya. And Totapuri had to go in after a few. So you can see The second line, let us come to the second. Second line says, Nishkarana Bhakata Sharana Tyaji Jati Kulaman. So Nishkarana, what is the Nishkarana means? Nihi Karana is called Nishkarana. That means there is no cause. That is causeless. What is this causeless means what? Causeless, it's a very funny term, There is a cause for everything. But for one thing, there is no cause at all. Without cause also, can there be something? Can there be something from which all causes can come? But the Mula or the Adi, as we call it, that is got no cause. So in Vedanta, these discussions take place. When Shankaracharya, when he writes Bhashya for Brahma Sutra and as well as for Bhagavad Gita, he speaks of certain arguments. So they say, the Saguna Upasakas say that why don't admit Lord Narayana created this universe? He is the supreme Brahman in the form of Narayana. So Narayana created this universe. Let us take it like that. So Shankara says, no, Advaita will not accept this argument. If you say Narayana created this universe, then the question will be put to you by an Advaitin that who created Narayana? Then you have to answer that. Because creation, you say, if somebody creates something, who created that person? He is also created person. Then if you say that Narayana was created by someone, then how Narayana becomes the supreme Brahman? So you cannot call him supreme. So there is a fallacy in your logic. Suppose you say Brahma was created by Narayana, because Narayana's navel only Brahma came. So Brahma was created by Narayana. Then Narayana was created by, say Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva was created by whom? So you go on one behind another and behind another, where you will put an end. So the Advaita Vedantin puts a question that you are going infinitely. This is called Anavastha, where the Avastha is not there, where there is no beginning is there. That's why in Tamil, Tirukural, the Thiruvalluvar says, in the very first verse he says, Agara Mudala Eduthallam Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulagu. This Ulagu, this universe has been created by Bhagavan. This Bhagavan, don't ask me who created this Bhagavan. It is a useless question because he is the Adi Bhagavan. He is the originator. So he is a causeless cause. So that's why it's called Nishkarana. So Sri Ramakrishna in his cosmic aspect is causeless. That means causeless means what? He is the cause for everything else. That's why it's called Nishkarana. He is Karana for other things, but for himself he is Nishkarana. So the causeless cause is a very beautiful concept for the Supreme Brahman is used in Advaita Vedanta. So in this cosmic aspect, we should say, not in this Saguna aspect or Sakara aspect, Sri Ramakrishna is Nishkarana. But then Bhakata Sharana is another word that is used. So some people interpret Bhakata Sharana Nishkarana, as I just now told you, separately. You can do also. How do you combine these? Bhakata Sharana means one who gives refuge to the devotees. Those who take Sharan, those who take refuge at his holy feet, he gives refuge. So he is called Bhakata Sharana. So, but then if you combine this Nishkarana and Bhakata Sharana, you get another beautiful meaning. And the meaning is, he gives refuge to the devotees without any condition. Nishkarana. So a devotee need not have any complicated rules or conditions. I should be this, I should be that, then only I will get the grace of Lord. No. Bina hetu. Hetu bina. He can give you grace. seeing your karma, seeing your bhavana of all your previous lives, even 10 lives before this life, before that, well developed spiritually, that type of person you have lived. For some force of circumstances, you have become bad in 10 lives. But 90 lives before that, just take in, for instance, 100 lives you had. So 90 lives, you have been living a very good life. So seeing that, God judges you, not only for these 10 lives. So without any reason, He seemed to give you ahetu kripa, it is called. He can do that ahetu kripa. So when you take at his refuge, then He gives you no. He said, yes, I will definitely tell my devotee with you. This grace of God is something wonderful. That's why in that way also you can say Nishkarana, Bhakata-sharana, you can interpret separately, or you can combine these two in that line. You can imagine, when you think of the meaning while singing, you can imagine that. And then it comes there, unconditionally He gives refuge to you. Okay. Then what is the last one? Teji jati kulama. Teji means, Teji is a Bangla word means. Understand? That you have made Tyaga. For that you call Teji. So that is how he says that Bandi, Tomai, that Bandi, like that, those type of verbs he is using here. So Teji means you have done renunciation. That means you have renounced. What you have renounced? You have renounced Jati Kula Mana. Jati Kula Mana. This Jati Kula Mana you have renounced. I must take you with a little example, some examples from his life to make you understand, to study this Jati Kula Mana. It's something very, very, a subject, that can touch the nerves of many people. This type of subject this is. And it comes under the Ashta Pasha also, among the 8 Pashas, 8 fetters, 8 bondages as they call it. So definitely we will see it in the next week. And there's a happy best wishes to all of you to celebrate Guru Purnima in your own style. On Saturday, please spend your time thinking of your Guru's holy feet. As Tulsidas says, Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamana Mukura Sudhar. Think of Guru's holy feet and then spend your day in repeating the Guru's mantra, the japa, as much as possible.